Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Thunder, and today we're going to be adding the save system to our game. So this is going to be one of the last additions we have to do before we are done with the game. So it's going to be this, and the next thing is going to be the main and pause menu, and we'll be done with it. Then we will start adding multiplayer to it. So the reason I did it like this is, as I said in the previous video, so those who want a single player survival game, they can make it, and those who want a multiplayer survival game, they can also make it. So let's go ahead and get started. I left a link down below in the description, and that's going to be the link to the save system we're going to be using. It's a save system that I created. Basically what it does is it saves the position of objects and the rotation and scale. And it also saves objects that were created while the game was running. So for example, when we drop a item from our inventory, we create a bag. We can save those things. We can save buildings. We can save all of that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and import it, and I'll get back to you guys in a moment. Alright, so I just imported it in, and here it is, save system. You should, when you unpack the RAR file, you should get a folder that says Thunderstorm templates, and then inside of it there should be a folder which is save system. Go ahead and import that one, and I've got it right here. There's a brief documentation file, and then right here is the source. So you can see we got two scripts, savable object and save handler. Now save handler is what contains our options for loading and saving the game. Now all we have to do is call these functions whenever we want. So we are going to go ahead and do something. This is going to be provisional. We'll be adding it once, we'll be linking it to our pause menu and main menu once we create it. But just for now, go ahead and create a simple script. So we're going to create a C# script, and we're going to call it save load. Now this script, as I said, is going to be provisional. This script is basically going to call our save and load method. So let's go ahead and do save private save handler, and then we are going to do on start save handler equals get component save handler, and then on our update function we're gonna link it to the, I guess we're gonna do it the VNB key, or whatever key you want to link it, just link it to one of two keys. So we're gonna do if input dot get key down, and then we do key code, and whichever key you want to do, I'm just gonna do Q for loading. So if input dot get key down, key code dot Q, save handler dot load. There we go. And then if input dot get key down, key code dot, I guess I'm gonna do X dot X, then we save the game. Save handler dot save. Now, how is this gonna work? Basically, right now the system only saves objects, position, and things like that. So what we are going to be doing is basically we're gonna tweak it a little bit so that we can also save our inventory. We're going to have to do some tweaks to our inventory code, but it should be fine. Now let's go ahead and create an empty game object just to test that we can save things. Create empty, and we are going to call it save handler, and we're gonna add the save handler script and our provisional save load script. Now over here in savable objects, basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be dragging any object that can be saved into it. So basically this means that things that are either created at runtime or are already in our game, like our player, those things are savable objects. So to our player, select your player, and we're just gonna make sure we're saving its position. So we're gonna add component, savable object, and then instantiate. What this means is, was this object created during the game? If this is checked, what it's gonna do is gonna create another instance of this object while at runtime. So when we load a game, it's gonna instantiate this object. Now, our player is already on the scene, so we don't really need that. But these item bags, for example, that usually they will be instantiated, these are pre-created item bags, but they would usually be instantiated. Those item bags do not get saved. You know, like that is not instantiated. All we should do is save its position and not even that. Now, the other thing, the ID. So every savable object, whether is created during runtime or is our player, must have a unique ID. There should be no duplicated IDs, because otherwise it's gonna bug the hell out of the system. As I said, it's a simple system, so that's the simplest way to do it. I'm just gonna give it a ID of 0 to our player, and then we're gonna go to the save handler and we're gonna add our player to the savable objects. Now, let's go ahead and hit play and test it out. Alright, here it is. You can see we're right here. So if we hit Q, nothing happens because there's no save file yet. Okay, let me just mute this so you guys are not hearing it. So we go over here. I'm gonna go over to the beach, and once we come over here, I'm just gonna hit X, which is the key I've got linked to saving, and let's see if it actually saved. There should be some debugging over here, but there isn't. But we're not getting any errors either. So now if we hit Q, alright, it's not going as expected. So let me just check the code for this script. Save handler equals get component, blah blah blah. Get key down Q, get key down X, save and load. So this should be working. I don't see why it's not working. So let's see, serialization, save data. All right. Oh, let me just check this, because I created this system like 2 months ago. So this has the savable object. I'm just gonna change its ID to 1. So player savable object. Alright, that is working. Let me just check the actual code of it then. So save handler. Okay. If it's not direct files that exist, saves. Okay, that's load. And I'm safe. Game was saved successfully. So it is debugging that. Okay, this is not something I planned for it. I thought it would work at the first one, so I'm gonna go ahead and just move myself over to the beach. Hit X to save my game. So that should have debugged something. And then Q. Alright, nothing's happening, so I'm gonna pause the video and go ahead and check that. Make sure that it is working, and I'll get back to you guys in a moment. Alright, so I just tested it by myself and it worked perfectly. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it again, and let's see what happens. So I'm gonna move over to the beach. I'm going to hit X, and you can see it says down here, game save system, game was saved successfully. So we're at the beach. We are going to go back here and press Q, and let's see what happens. So it loaded our position. Now obviously you would want to make a provisional loading screen for all the creation of things and everything. So that is something you want to keep in mind. So now let's go ahead again, and we just stopped our scene. Now let's go ahead and hit play again. So now we're right here. If we hit Q, we're back at the beach. Now that's pretty much how the save system works. What we're going to be doing is we want to save our player basic stats. So things like health. So the player health and the hunger, the thirst, and also our inventory system. So what we're going to be doing is exactly that. We're gonna add that data to our savable object and our serialization. So let's go ahead and actually do that. So serialization should be on save data. So load the save data script, and we are going to be doing one more thing, which is we're gonna call it public player. Actually, no, we're gonna need one more thing. Okay, never mind. We're gonna do it like this. So header player, and then over here we're gonna do public float current health. Then we're gonna do public float current hunger. Then another public float for the thirst. Alright, there we go. Now, there's one more thing we're going to have to do, which that should be, we should be adding this to our list once we save. So we're gonna go back to our save handler, and where we save, so right here save dash object and save data singleton. So save, alright, where exactly is the line of code? Okay, alright, I need to find, okay, so this is where the function gets executed. So right here we're going to do save data dot singleton dot current health equals find object of type player dot health dot current health. Okay, I know what's going on. So we are going to go ahead and open our player script because I'm pretty sure those variables are private. Or actually, never mind. We have that on player stats. That's why we were missing it. So player stats dot health. So, and same thing again. Save data dot singleton dot current hunger equals find object of type player stats dot hunger, and same thing for the thirst. So that singleton dot current thirst equals find object of type player stats. Okay, there we go. Dot thirst. So we are already saving our health, hunger, and thirst. Now we need to load it back in. So right before here, where it says save data.load, what we're gonna do is, so we're gonna be doing the following. Let's go ahead and right after save data.load, we're going to do find object of type player stats dot health equals save data dot singleton dot current health. Now same thing again, just the opposite way. Basically, back then we were saving it to save data. Now we're loading it from save data. Player stats dot hunger equals save data dot singleton dot current hunger. Then again, find object of type, player stats dot thirst equals save data dot singleton dot current thirst. There we go. Alright, so now we should be saving and loading our player stats. So let's go ahead and try it. Now keep in mind one thing. You can make as many things savable by using this system. This is basically what I use for the game I show you, which is a full multiplayer game with which you can have up to hundreds of players, and this is exactly what I use for it. And the best of all is that the save file is encrypted, so no one can go ahead and change it. So there's no cheating with regards to it. Now, one thing to keep in mind is make sure that everything you're doing it, you do add on save data. The reason we're doing it here is just to not complicate ourselves more. But as you can see, this is a public class save data. It doesn't derive from mono behavior, so it can be serialized. Now you would have to create multiple classes like this for every specific object, or you can just put it all in save data, which is not the best idea. I do not recommend it, but this is the simplest way we can do it. So now let's go ahead and load our player. So we are at 100 health, 100 thirst, and 99 thirst. So I'm just gonna save it right here. So let's go like here and save it. So X, there we go, we saved it. Now if we load it back in, alright, we're at that position. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pause the game. I'm gonna go into player. You don't have to do this, I'm just doing it for the sake of testing. Although I do recommend you try it. And I'm gonna put the health to like 30, the hunger to 45, and the thirst to 67. So you can see I already have it, like all my stats are down. So now if I load, there we go, they are back to the place they were. So there we go, we're saving our player stats. Now next thing to save is going to be the actual how do you call it, the day and night cycle. So what time of day are we in? It's pretty simple, same thing. We're just gonna add that to the save data script. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so over here I'm just gonna organize this a little. So I'm gonna do comment player stats, then down here I'm just gonna do day and night cycle. So day night cycle. Now we're going to have to go back to our save data, and over here we're just gonna add a new float, so public float time of day, and we're just gonna leave it there. Now we gotta go over to save handler, and here we're doing the loading. Alright, so we're just gonna load that in. So we're gonna do find object of type day night cycle dot time of day equals save data dot singleton dot time of day. So that's it. Now next thing is going to be saving it. So back here, same thing, I'm gonna comment this to keep it organized. I'm gonna do player stats, then I'm gonna do day night cycle. Commenting code, believe me, as much as tedious as it may seem, it's really important, because sometimes you don't touch a script for weeks and then you go back to it and you don't know what the hell you did, you don't know where everything is. So please, if you want to save yourself a headache, just comment every single code. Alright, comment what this section does, what that one does, everything. It's really important and really essential, especially if you're working in a team. That's gonna help the other people understand your code and be able to use it. So let's go ahead and keep going. So over here, all we do is save data dot singleton dot time of day equals find object of type. Alright, so yeah, find object of type. Alright, I cannot type today. Okay, find object of type, day night cycle dot time of day. So let's do Control S. Now let's go back to this, and we could even try right now because our save data by default is going to have 0 of time of day. So what we're going to go ahead and do first is, also one more thing, sorry. Over here you should have a folder called saves. This is the folder that is created to all your saves file, and if you delete it, you're basically deleting your save file, which I'm gonna do to test this. And also keep in mind, if you try loading something from a save file that, so just like how we modify right now, we added the time of day variable. If we tried loading those files, the old ones, the old version, it will give us a big error. So just don't do it and save yourself some pain. Now I'm gonna go ahead and make the time of day be like 2000, so day night cycle, and I'm gonna set it to 2000, so it's nighttime. Alright, there we go. So I'm gonna hit X and save it. Now I'm gonna go ahead, pause it, and put it to 800. Let's hit play again. So you can see the sun is there. It's early morning. Now if we hit Q, there we go. It got saved. So we're already saving our day night cycle or player stats. Now the last thing we need to add to it is to actually save our inventory and safety data on these things. So on the dropbacks, because we have the pickup, but we do not have we're not saving these objects. So first thing, we're gonna go over to, I believe it's not scripts, prefabs. Over here we're gonna select our dropback, and we're gonna add the savable object component. Now I'm starting to realize we might have an issue here. Actually no, never mind, it's good. I'm just gonna assign an ID of 2 because our player ID is 1, so, and mark instantiate as true because this will be created at runtime. So there we go, that's fixed. Now we're gonna need to tweak our inventory code. So the way we're gonna do it is we're gonna create a database on our game scene that we can refer objects to it. Now basically we're gonna assign each item, so each data, and unique ID, and instead of saving the whole item data, we're just gonna save that ID, and then we're gonna refer to the database, and when the ID matches with one of the items, that item is the one we're using. So that's pretty much how it's gonna work. Now let's go ahead. So first thing, we're gonna search inventory item. No, not inventory manager, item SO, I think it is called here. Yep. So item SO, and we are going to add right here below general, we're going to add a public int ID, and that's gonna be it. So now let's go back here. And there we go. Now we're gonna go ahead and go back to our assets, go into our items folder, and we're gonna go through each item and assign its unique ID. So this one's gonna be 1, sorry, this one's gonna be 2, this one's gonna be 3, then this one right here is gonna be 4, this one right here is gonna be 5. Alright, I'm just gonna pause the video because this is kind of tedious, especially to you guys to watch. So I'm gonna pause the video, do all of it, and you can do the same. So let's go ahead and do this. Alright, so I already assigned all of the IDs. Now we're going to have to create the database. So we're gonna go back to assets, scripts, and we're just gonna do, you know what, we're gonna do it on Safe System. So on Safe System, we're gonna go into source, script, and right here, we're going to right click, create script, C# script, and we're gonna call it item database. And pretty much it's just gonna be an array of items that we can refer to. So it's as simple as doing this. Public item is O and make it an array, so 2 square brackets, game items. And that's it. We got it right there. Now, what we are going to need is we're going to have to refer to these on our scene. But first, let's go ahead and create it. So right click, create empty, item database, and just drag the item database script into it. Now this is only going to be referred to for loading. Alright, for some reason this is not compiled for me, so I'm going to save it with an error and go back to Unity. Item database, what the hell? Can this compile? Alright, now it's compiling finally. Alright, now we see our array here, and I'm gonna lock the inspector window, and we're gonna go to our items, and we're gonna drag them all. It doesn't matter the order you drag. Okay. Oh my god, I cannot talk today. As I was saying, it doesn't matter the order you drag them in, as all we want is a reference. So I'm just gonna drag them all. The resources also, so stones, wood, all of that. And so wood, resources, weapons. And then just the last thing we need is the cooked meat. So, alright, sorry about that background noise. Alright, now we got this. Let's go ahead and actually save our items and load it. So, and over here we're going to go to save data. We're going to create a public list int, and this is going to be item IDs. Then we're going to do another public list int item stacks. We're gonna leave it there. Now, okay, yeah, I put the name inside the arrows. So item stacks. And there we go. Now, the last thing we have to do is basically we're going to go ahead and save it. So let's go to our save handler, and over here we're just gonna do big space, and we're gonna do save inventory. This is saving. So first thing we're gonna need, just to make our work easier, we're gonna do player equals find object of type. Actually, we're gonna do this. So instead of player, do inventory manager, and over here we're gonna call inventory, and we're gonna do find object of type player dot get component children inventory manager, so that way we're not having to type this whole thing every single time. There we go. Now next thing we're gonna do is save data dot singleton dot, I believe it's inventory. No, not inventory. Item IDs dot clear. So we're gonna clear our list so we're not loading more than we need. Then same thing for the stacks, save data dot item, okay, that singleton dot item stacks dot clear. So that way we're not getting duplicates. Now, next thing is gonna be pretty simple. We're just gonna run a for int I equals 0. Okay, int I equals 0 if I is less than inventory dot slot size, that inventory slots. Then we just, alright, then I plus plus, there we go. Okay, then inventory slots that length, sorry. Now in here, basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna save the inventory data first. So we're gonna do if inventory dot inventory slots I dot data equals null. So if there's nothing in it, we're gonna do the following. We're going to do save data dot singleton dot item IDs, and we're just gonna set it to 0 dot add, and we're gonna do 0. Now the reason I didn't use 0 as my first ID is for this exact this is the exact reason, because 0 is gonna represent that it's empty. So if you're assigning 0 as an ID to any of your items, don't do that. Alright, and next thing we're gonna do save data dot singleton dot item stacks dot add, and we're gonna do also 0 because it's empty. Alright, then in this case we're gonna do else. We're gonna do save data, okay, save data dot singleton dot item IDs dot add, and we're basically gonna do inventory dot inventory slots square brackets I dot data dot ID, and there we go. Okay, not inventory size, inventory slots. There we go. And there we go, we saved that. Now we're gonna do the same thing, but for these stacks IDs. Save data dot singleton dot item stacks dot add inventory dot inventory slots I dot stack size. And there we go, we got that saved. And that's pretty much it. Now we're gonna do the same thing but for our hotbar. So let's go ahead and do it. So for int I equals 0, then I, if I is less than inventory dot hotbar slots hotbar. Wait, let me check the inventory manager code because I do not see it anywhere. Alright, I'm gonna check the slot generation. So generate hotbar slots. So inventory slots equals inventory slots dot to array. Alright, so the hotbar is already being saved on our inventory. So that's alright. So we're going to go ahead and we're gonna go back to the save data, save handler actually. And we do not need this. Now we're basically going to be running the same exact code on save, so I'm just gonna go ahead and copy this. So copy it and then go up to load, and I'm just gonna put it the same way right after day night cycle. There we go. But we're gonna take these two out, and instead of save data that singleton that items dot add, we are going to go ahead and turn this and load it into our actual game basically. So we're gonna do inventory dot inventory slots. And actually we do not need the ifs, so let's go ahead and delete that. So inventory dot inventory slots I dot data. Okay, actually never mind, we're missing one more thing. We need to find the data first, so we're gonna need some ifs. So if save data dot singleton dot I believe is item IDs I equals 0, this means that it's empty. So we're going to go ahead and just basically set it to ID 0 and stack 0. So let's go ahead and do it. We're gonna do inventory dot inventory slots I dot data equals null. Okay, not equals null. And we're gonna do inventory dot inventory slots I dot stack size equals 0. And there we go, that's it. Now else in here we're going to do something different. So on our item database, we're gonna go ahead and make a public void on the item database script. Actually, not void, public item SO. And then we're gonna call this function get item data. And we're only gonna pass in an int, which is gonna be its ID. So this is gonna be again pretty simple. We're gonna run a for int I equals 0 if I is less than game items dot length, then I plus plus. And inside here all we have to do is if game items I dot ID equals ID, then we basically just do the following. We return game items I. And then if this is not the case, we're gonna need to do another one. So we're just gonna do return null. And there we go. It's pretty much done, the item database script. Now over here we're gonna do inventory dot inventory slots I equals okay, actually let's go up here right below our inventory manager variable. We're gonna do a item database and we're just gonna call it database. Okay, database equals find object of type item database. And there we go, we got it right there. Alright, so sorry about that, I had to pause the video. We go over here and we do item data. Instead of this, we're going to do that data equals database dot get item data, and we pass it the save data. Okay, save data, not dave data. Save data dot singleton dot item IDs I. And there we go. Now we just gotta pass it the stack size. So we do inventory dot inventory slots I dot, I believe it would be stack size equals save data dot singleton dot item stacks I. And there we go, we got our inventory being saved. Now that's gonna be pretty much it. All we have to do is check it out, make sure it works, and if it does, we're all set. It's all done. Now the reason I did not do this beforehand is pretty simple. Now I wanted you guys to have the save system, and the way to do that, you know, I don't want to give you a predetermined save system that only works for a single thing. So that's why we did it here instead of doing it in beforehand, so you guys can use the same. So let's go ahead and hit play and make sure it works. Also delete your save file so you don't get any errors. So right now my inventory is empty. So that's how my game starts. I'm gonna go ahead, pick some things up, put my weapon over here, and then I'm gonna go here, hit X, then I'm gonna drop everything. Okay, what the hell just happened? I don't know why I got bugged, but okay. So drop that, drop that, drop that, drop that. Now I'm gonna hit Q. Alright, is there any errors? Because there might be one. Yep, there is one. And I know exactly what's going on. So what's going on is we are turning a array into a list. So we basically have to turn the data, the safe data, into a array, and then just have it added to the list. So we're going to go ahead and do that. It will take just a second, to be honest. Alright, sorry about that, had to pause the video. So let's go ahead and create and turn our lists into arrays. So we're gonna make two integer arrays, so int array, and we're gonna call it IDs, and we're gonna make it equals new int array, and for the size inside these square brackets we're gonna do inventory slots length. So there we go, and then we're just gonna put two parentheses. That's how it works. Inventory slots length. What's the issue with this? Quick actions and refactoring. Says method name expected. New int. What exactly is going on? Let me just remove this too, see what happens. Alright, so no two parentheses needed. Now we're basically gonna do the same thing, so I'm just gonna copy this, Control C. We're gonna put it here, and instead of IDs, we're gonna call it stacks. So save it, and then we're gonna run another for before this one. So instead, before this one, we're gonna do another for. So int I equals 0 if I is less than save data dot singleton dot item IDs dot count, then I plus plus. Actually no, we don't need a for. Alright, sorry guys, it's been long since I last did this, so alright, so we only do IDs equals, and we're gonna do save data dot singleton dot item IDs dot to array. So there we go, and actually over here just do 0 by default. We don't need this. And then same thing with the stacks, so stacks equals save data dot singleton dot stacks, so item stacks dot to array. And then over here, instead of doing save data dot singleton dot item IDs, we are just going to go ahead and do singleton, not singleton, we're just going to do IDs square brackets I, and then same thing, but over here we're just going to do stacks square brackets I, and that should fix it. So let's go ahead and test it. Okay. Alright, so let's clear this. And this is loading, right? Yeah, this is where we're loading it. Save. Now I'm just gonna move over here. Actually, pick these things up first. Alright, sorry guys, I'm going through my. Where's my mouse? Alright, there we go. Much better. So let's just pick up a couple of things. And I'm just gonna drag this here and shoot it a little. So we got 25. Now I'm just gonna move over here and we're gonna do X. Why the hell is there another node reference? There shouldn't be any. Save handler that save. So item IDs dot. Okay, I know exactly what's happening. Alright, so yep. Basically we gotta initialize our lists. So that's what's going on pretty much. So we're just gonna do save data dot singleton dot item IDs equals new list int, and there we go. Now same thing over here, save data. Also this is on the save function, keep that in mind. Dot singleton dot item stacks equals new list. Okay, new list. There we go, that should work. So let's go back here and now we can actually try it. So now we should not be having any issues with it. So let's go ahead and do it. So let's pick up our items. Also, we're going to be doing a polishing video before we finish the single player part, where that's pretty much going to be the last video. And what we're going to be doing is adding things like head pop, so for when we run or camera moves. We're going to be adding UI for pickup, UI for opening storages and stuff like that. So that way we have it more fleshed out. It's not really needed, but you know, it would be recommended for you to do it. Alright, so we got 24 bullets. I'm gonna go ahead and hit X right by here. Okay, game saved successfully. This is one of the reasons why I say debugging is pretty useful, because when things like this happen, you know, like right there, I already knew what was going on. So I'm just gonna drop everything pretty much. And now we're gonna hit Q. And for some reason our inventory is not loaded. Alright, so there is an issue somewhere. So let's do Q. Yeah, it's not getting loaded. Okay, I know what's going on. Most likely it's loaded, it's just not updated. So we're gonna go ahead and do that too. So go to your load function, and up here, where is it? Right here, we're going to do update slot. So we're just gonna do inventory slots I dot update slot. So that's what we missed. I'm just gonna copy this and just put it down here. And now you don't have to delete your save file. All we have to do is load it. What happened? Okay, I forgot to close the line. There we go. Fixed. And we're also going to be solving that null reference exception that we get when we try to drop from our hotbar. So don't worry about it. Now our inventory is empty. Q. Yeah, there we go. But for some reason our hotbar did not get saved, which I'm going to test that out. I'm going to save it again. Then I'm going to drop this. Okay, yeah, we definitely cannot drop from our hotbar. So, and I'm gonna load it. Yeah, so hotbar isn't getting saved, but I'm pretty sure the inventory is. So X, I'm gonna save it right here, then put it back into here, and then hit Q. Yeah, the inventory is, or hotbar isn't. So we're going to have to fix that. Although it should be getting saved, so I don't know what's going on. I gotta check the inventory manager script. So go to definition. So generate slots. This just generates the inventory slots and adds them to the inventory slot list. And same thing here. Alright, well, we're gonna have to do one more thing, which is basically going to be on the save handler. Let me just check we're not having any null ref issue. Alright, so I'm gonna figure this out quickly and I'll get back to you guys in a moment. Alright, so what we're going to be doing is pretty simple. So first, we're gonna check if our slots or hotbar slots are actually getting added to our inventory list, because that's a crucial thing that we need to make sure. Because if they aren't, we're just gonna, add them back in, and that should be it. So let me go to our player. You don't have to do this with me, so don't worry about it. Canvas, all menus. So let me unlock the inspector. Now, alright, well, I'm gonna have to go ahead and make that public. So I'm gonna go to my inventory manager. And public building blah blah. Alright, so I'm just gonna remove this. I'm gonna do Control S. Then let's go back into here, have it get serialized, and okay, it's loaded. And here's the inventory slots. So the hotbar slots are not getting added to it. That's what's going on pretty much. So we're going to go ahead and get that fixed in just some. Okay, so I just found out what the issue was. So we are creating a provisional list over here, but we're not adding the slots that are already in our inventory slots. And this function, the generate hotbar slots, gets called first. By the way, this is on the inventory manager script. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna update our list. So on generate slots, not hotbar slots, generate slots, we're gonna do update hotbar slots to the list. And we're pretty much going to run a for int I equals 0, then I, if I is less than inventory slots dot length, then I plus plus. And all we have to do is we are going to go ahead and do inventory slots dash dot add and we're just gonna do inventory slots without the dash, the normal one. I. And there we go. It's fixed. So let's go ahead and try loading it again. So maximize on play. I'm just gonna go ahead and pick everything up again, because if we load it right now, it's going to just load the previous data, and it will actually give us an error because it's got less saved slot than expected. Okay, well, we have the issue that everything is getting added to our hotbar first, so we're gonna fix that in a moment. Let's just make sure that the save system works. And I'm starting to realize this video might be getting a little longer than expected, so I'm just gonna go over here by the rocks. I'm gonna hit X to save it, then I'm just gonna drop all that there is on my inventory, and we're gonna be fixing that in a moment, don't worry. The hotbar drop issue is going to get fixed, because I'm pretty sure what's going on. So we're just gonna do Q, and there we go, we got it back. So yep, save system's almost done. All we have to do is the dropbacks, get them saved, and that's pretty much it. Now we might be doing some changes to the add component to the dropback. We'll need to do some tweaks to that, but it won't be that big of an issue. So let's go ahead now and fix the damn hotbar drop issue, and we're also gonna do something else. So over here, we're gonna copy this, and instead of doing it here, we're gonna do it here on generate hotbar slots. So, and now we're gonna go back to start, and we're gonna call or generate slots first, so that when we pick something up, instead of getting added to our hotbar, it will get added to our actual inventory. So next thing is going to be solving the hotbar drop issue. So okay, just give it a minute, guys. I'm pretty sure we're about to hit the hour-long mark, but believe me, this is worth it. It's pretty much what helps you have a good, decent game. I'm just gonna double click on this. Okay, can you get open, please? Alright, this is not wanting to get open for some damn reason. So, okay, I'm gonna figure this out of camera to not make the video longer, and I'll get back to you guys. Alright guys, so I found out what the issue was. So go to your slot script, and right here on drop, as you can see, it says get component in parent inventory manager that drop item. The issue with this is that for the hotbar, the inventory manager is not on a parent. So what we're gonna do is get component in parent player dot get component in children inventory manager, and there we go. So okay, I forgot the parentheses, so that will fix the error. Now we are going to go ahead and do this right here. So yep, that should fix it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick something up, like this same thing. Let me maximize it. So you can see if I drop it from here, as always, it works. And now if I drop it from my hotbar, it should work. Yep, there we go, it works. Alright, so the last thing is basically going to be our dropbacks. Alright guys, so it's pretty much been a whole entire day since that clip you guys saw. Well, actually more like 2 days. So I stopped for a little bit to figure out the way to do it. Realized I couldn't focus, so I decided to take a break. It ended up turning into a whole day. Now we're here 2 days later, so let's go ahead and do it. So first thing, our dropbacks, we're gonna need to make a couple of changes to that and our inventory code. But before doing that, we're going to go ahead and load our savable object script. And what we're gonna do right here, we're just gonna hide it in inspector first of all. Hiding inspector, and we're gonna do public int item ID. Now, if this ID equals anything but 0, then what's gonna happen is, like the actual object has a dropback script. Otherwise, it won't have anything like that. Then next thing we're gonna do is hiding inspector, and we're gonna do public int item stack. And then on update, we're gonna do an update function. Remember, this is savable object. On update, we are going to do, actually, no, we're not gonna do it on update. We're gonna do it on, update, never mind. Update, item ID, okay, no, actually, if get component, dropback, okay, not dropback, pickup, is not equals null, then we're gonna do the following. Item ID equals get component pickup dot data dot ID, and then we're gonna do same thing for the stack. Item stack equals get component pickup dot stack size. There we go. Alright, now else, so otherwise we're gonna just set the item ID to be equals to 0 and the stack size to be equals to 0. The item stack equals 0. The reason why I told you guys last time don't make your ID 0 is because 0 is gonna mean basically there's no object. So, well, last time pretty much like, I don't know, 20 minutes ago. For me, it's been a whole day, so yeah. Alright, so that's gonna be it for the savable object. That's all we need. Now, we're going to go back over here. And now, on your save system source, where your savable object is, you're going to have this other folder right here called save scripts. In there, there's the actual save script for the savable object. So this right here, save dash savable object. Go ahead and load that one into Visual Studio, and we're also gonna add two variables. So we're gonna add public item ID, public int item ID, and then we're gonna add a public int item stack. And pretty simple. Now we're gonna go to our save handler, and over here we're gonna need to make a couple of changes also. So yeah, if item ID is not equal to 0, so this is loading the objects. Now here we're on our load function, alright? So load on our save handler script. And we're gonna go down here to just a string share disable object. And then this is run through savable objects list and load the data to them. Alright, so right here. So it's save.id equals savable objects.id, and alright, so we got this one right here. We're loading it back. So obj equals savable object, and then obj dot instantiate. Yeah, so this is where we are loading it. So what we're going to be doing is basically on both of these we're basically going to do so obj.instantiate and the else on both of these we're going to type the following. So we're going to type instance dot um, item id equals save dot item id, and same thing for the stack size. So instance dot stack size or item stack equals save dot item stack, and there we go. Now just copy this and do the same for the else. Actually no, on the else no, because this is only going to work for savable objects. And now over here, after we do this, we're gonna do, I'm just gonna comment this, so update dropback, and then over here, if instance dot item id is not equals 0, so if it actually has an item in it, we're going to go ahead and basically create the component for it. So instance that item id, we're gonna do instance, actually we're gonna have to type a couple of things. So we're gonna do pickup equals instance dot get component pickup. Now the reason I do this thing sometimes as a local variable is pretty much laziness, so I don't have to type this whole thing out, so I can just do pickup, pretty simple. And then over here we're gonna do, make sure first that if get component pickup, okay no actually if pickup is not equals null, so if pickup is not equals null, so if we have the pickup component in the instance, we're gonna execute the code. Else we're gonna debug dot log error, and we're gonna say object trying to load save trying to load pickup info, but the pickup component does not exist. Now that we're gonna add one more thing to this debug.log just to make sure that it's a safe system. So save system, we're gonna type that, then 2 dots and space. And now let's go ahead and actually code it. So over here we're gonna do find object of type database. Actually no, we're gonna do pickup dot data equals find object of type database, item database I think it is, item database, there we go. Now over here we're gonna do dot get item data, and we're just gonna pass it the instance dot item id, and it's gonna be pretty simple. Just pick up that stack size equals instance dot item stack. So let's go ahead and get that fixed. Now we're gonna go back into here, and there's gonna be a couple of changes to our dropback that I already did, because as I said I was going through this whole thing. Okay, we're getting an error. Let me fix it. So let's see what's going on. Where the hell is the error? Savable object. Why is this giving me an error? Okay, yeah, because I accidentally deleted this bracket. That's why. Alright, so let's go back to Unity. You see, guys, that's the thing about coding. A single letter, a single bracket, a single sign can mess the entire thing up. Gladly, Unity has some good debugging tools, so it's not that painful to debug for. So I'm just gonna make sure the audio is muted. Now we're gonna go to our assets folder. We're gonna go to prefabs, and we're gonna go to dropback. And in this dropback, we're going to go down here. First of all, add the savable object script and give it an ID that's not 0. So as we already are saving our player as 1, I gave it the ID of 2 and mark it as instance. Now we're also going to add a component that's going to be pickup. We're going to pre-bake that into it. So if you have another model or you change your models, make sure you do the setup correctly. And now I'm going to go ahead and save, and we're going to need to make one more change to our inventory manager script. So let's go to it. I believe I have it loaded. Nope, but I can just load it from here. This is something else I recommend you guys use, the Solution Explorer. It's pretty useful. So over here on Inventory Manager, let's go to our drop back function. So not add item, so we are basically doing drop item. Yeah, this one right here, our drop item function. And instead of add component on the first line, we're just gonna do get component. So get component. And same thing on the other drop item function. We're gonna do get component. And there we go. It should be getting saved now. So we're going to go ahead and actually test that theory out. Oh wait, actually never mind. We need to do one more thing. So go to your save handler. And as always, every item you create, you must add the dropback component over here. So, well, not the dropback component, but the savable item to the savable objects list. There we go. We add our dropback. I'm gonna save it and let's hit play. See what happens. All right, I'm in the game. I'm gonna pick up a couple of things. Honestly, I'm just gonna pick up my rifle. Okay, why isn't it letting me pick up? There's a null reference object. So, okay, save handler that update. I'm gonna clear this out and see what's going on. Savable object. Okay, let's go ahead and check savable object. If get component pickup is not equals null, then we actually do that. Alright, so I don't know exactly what's going on. Okay guys, so what's going on is that we are not checking if the pickup object actually has a data. So over here we're gonna do if get component pickup dot data is not equals null, then we execute this. Otherwise, we're gonna do the same thing as if there was no data. So just copy this else, and then just put it here. Now that should be fixed. Let's go ahead and test it. Also, go ahead and delete your saves folder just for the sake of it. It's not really necessary, but it's just basically a way to prevent things from getting messed up. Now we should not be getting any errors. Okay, we're not getting errors now, but we do have to fix one more thing, which is this one that we get when we try to pick something up. So let's go ahead and check what it is. So if pick up that data that is stackable. Okay, I know what happened. Yeah, so it's not an error. Basically, these are all linked to the prefab, so they all lost their values and were changed to the prefab's value, which now makes it null, basically. And it has two pickup components. So select them all and just remove the extra one that you got. And there we go. Now let's go ahead and play and try to pick them up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pick up a rifle, because that we can change the stack size of it. So there are the rounds, and here should be the rifle. There we go. So I'm just gonna run. There we go. I'm going to drop it, and I'm going to hit X, which is save. Actually, it's not gonna work because we're not saving the item data, now that I think about it. Yeah, it's not working because we're not saving the item data. We just did the loading code. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Go back to your save handler, and we are basically going to go to our save function where we load this right here, and then we're going to do pretty simple, save.itemid equals obj.getComponent, obj.id, and not .id, .itemid. And then we're gonna do save.stack.item tag stack equals obj.item stack, and that should fix it. Now we do have our data saved already. Oh no, actually we have to save again. But don't worry, basically what this does is just it saves into the actual data. I just do it to make sure that everything works and I don't have to go back and do it again. But you guys can just keep testing it. If you get an error, then delete it. It's not that big of a deal. So let's go ahead and I'm going to grab the rifle rounds and the actual M4. Then I'm gonna equip it. Alright, got 23 bullets left. Just gonna go over to the beach. And right here, we're gonna drop this. It has 23 bullets in it, remember? So I'm gonna move here. I'm gonna save. Then I'm gonna go over here, load back in here. Actually, you know what? Just to make sure that, you know, like, anyways, the save objects that are active, they just get destroyed, you know, if they're instantiated. So, but just to make sure, I'm gonna load. So we should have our drop back there. All right, and there we go. All right, wait, what? All right, there we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick it up, and we got our rifle with 23 bullets. There we go. It's getting saved. I've said there we go, and God knows how many times. But we only have one more thing to do, which would be saving our storage boxes. But we're gonna do that in the next video, because to be honest, this video should be around an hour long already. So I don't want it to get any longer, and that's gonna take us like 20 more minutes. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now we're going to go ahead and end the video here. You guys pretty much have a fully working save system already for your game. Now, alright, sorry about that guys, had to pause the video. But as I was saying, now the save system is fully finished. Once we get, sorry about the dog barking, seems like someone's walking their dog. Once we start implementing multiplayer, we're going to have to do some tweaks to it. But it's not gonna be that hard to do. So for example, we're gonna have to add support for multiple player inventories and multiple player positions. But again, it's simple tweaks that will get us pretty. It won't be that long of a video. So far, if you implement multiplayer into your game, the save system is only gonna save for a single player. So all the other players are gonna lose their inventory and have to respawn once they get in, which is not that fun, to be honest. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna be it for the video, guys. I know it may have been a longer video. I say may have been because I don't know the length yet. But this was a pretty important video that we had to do. As I said, we're gonna finish the storage system in the next video. And as always, if you guys like the video, consider subscribing. Make sure to hit the like button and comment down below. It's always appreciated. And I'll see you guys.